Welcome to my channel.
Wife 33F said she cheated on me 30M because I'm ugly and short. Story 1-3. Years ago now, my girlfriend was the black sheep of the family and was always being criticized, etc. So for a big family shindig they were having, I bought her a suit $500 to impress the relatives. She mentioned that she had run into her addict ex while there, and I thought nothing more of it. A short while later she went to stay the night at her aunt's house, one of the good relatives, so I loaned her my car. No big deal, she would be back early the next morning. Anyway, later that night I get a phone call from her little sister, in tears and needing her big sis because their grandmother had died. I told her she was at her aunt's place. She said no, she's not, we are there. I said I'd let her know when I saw her. It was a long night waiting for her return, and when she pulled up in the driveway looking particularly happy, I asked where she was. She said at my aunt's. I said no, you weren't. Your sister called from your aunt's place. She needs you. Your grandmother died last night. Yeah, so she borrowed my car to hook up with her ex, after reigniting a flame wearing a suit I bought her. I bet she didn't see that coming. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1. This is none of my business, but I almost want to know what happened after. As in, what was her reaction? Did you break up with her? Redditor 2. Ouch. People's minds can be poisoned too easily, and make really stupid decisions. I would have asked, so anything eventful happened at your aunt's last night? And when she replied no, I would have said, so you don't consider your grandmother dying eventful? Hey. Redditor 3. Yeah, there were lots of things I would have said, but at the time I was just brain feckered. Redditor 4. I know, dude. I was being hypothetical in hindsight. I'm sorry that happened to you. Redditor 5. You sound like a very self-righteous person. Why would you even enter this conversation to heap praise on yourself and your so-called happy marriage? I feel sorry for your wife. She's probably unhappy in her marriage with you, but you are so self-absorbed you wouldn't notice. You probably wouldn't notice either if she was having an affair because of the amount of love you seem to lavish upon yourself. Story 2-3. Idiot me, I never suspected anything from her. She, the child of divorce who always begged me to promise never to get divorced. I guess it was a one-way promise. She was all over Facebook and texting in its early days. She found out that her high school boyfriend with whom she hooked up then while involved with another guy was divorced for the second time, so he was available. Only, she was married to me. She decided to leave me and created a fiction that I was somehow emotionally abusive, saying she didn't feel comfortable talking with me without a neutral party. Only, it was she who would go off on the children ages 9-15 at the time. In fact, I would stand in between her and the kids to protect them. She also threw our son against the wall once. Her boyfriend, now husband, threw him up against the wall twice after they were married. I found his number on the cell phone bill, with scores of calls and over 1,000 texts in a month. Never one to accept responsibility or apologize. It just got worse, and presented with evidence, she remains years later in denial. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1. It's amazing how many of these stories are similar. Sorry man. Redditor 2. We love you, Nathaniel, and think the world of you. Redditor 3. Terrible, man. Story 3-3. Well, 17 years into a marriage that cost me my relationship with my family, I felt something had changed in her general attitude. Something was wrong. I already suspected something had happened a few months before on a work trip, but was told I was being stupid. Of course it was my fault. I went out one night for a business meeting. We lived in Saudi at the time, and left my iPad on with an audio recording app on. On my return, I pressed play, and less than 5 minutes later she was on the phone to someone, telling I was out, and he should have waited nearby, etc. Long and short of it, she was having an affair with the guy I hired to drive my daughter to school and her to work. Remember, we were in Saudi and women are not allowed to drive. My fault again. For spying this time. I kicked her out. We had agreed because of her past lives that would be a deal breaker. She then told me it was one stupid mistake, and that she wanted to spend the rest of her life proving how silly she had been. Within 6 weeks I had proof of 3 more guys. including one who she told my daughter she would need to be calling daddy soon, same guy she didn't want anywhere near our daughter 6 months prior as he was creepy. I have not looked back, despite losing 17 years of my life. I am now raising a grade 11-year-old daughter. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, sorry to hear your story. I guess the lesson here from your line, within 6 weeks I had proof of 3 more guys, is that once a cheater, always a cheater. Probably the fraction of people cheating once and cheating never again is just negligible. Redditor 2, good job, my friend. You jobled it well. Hats off, row you. Yeah, it must have been a beach to have to GP or that, but you did what you had you and you did it very well.
Thank you for watching. Comment what do you think about this situation. Don't forget to like and subscribe.